I just got one of those stupid calls from your medical insurance, student loan, and it cut off this really important video. Now I got to do a part 2 because I'm not a technical person. I don't know how to join videos yet. I was going over my tools. That really annoys me. Now, I learned to hang wallpaper in the city of New York when I was a teenager. My first teacher for hanging wallpaper was my mother. And now that I'm grown up myself, I look back and I see that she identified something in me. That she said, we're going to install the wallpaper. You're going to help me. So I had 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and she grabbed me. And so she taught me how to hang wallpaper. And that wallpaper was up for more than 20 years, by the way. So anyway, I'm on the ladder, and I have my wallpaper hanging up, and then it comes down like an avalanche. That's where I was leaving off. What I do is, I simply take a piece of tape that I know is not going to rip my wallpaper. If it's vinyl, it's definitely not going to rip it. But if it's thin paper, it could rip it. Even in that case, if you put it at the very edge of the paper, doesn't matter if it rips it because you're going to cut that part off anyway. You got to be careful where you put the tape. But it holds it. I'll put it on part of the wall, part of the ceiling, whatever, as long as it holds it up. So that's why I want to have, number 1, tape. Here's a tool that is used by a wallpaper hanger. And I found this, I think, in a thrift store, and I picked it right up. This is a petroleum, like they use on rollerblades. This is the wheel that I use, okay? This is a very good seam roller. And what this does is, when you're dealing with I don't use this on every seam. I will only use this on a difficult seam, something like fabric back vinyl. Something that I'm having a hard time putting down, laying down, okay? The problem with this is a 2-inch span, and when you put this on wallpaper that has wet glue underneath it, you cause a perfectly wide, 2-inch wide track. So, but it does lay out the seam perfectly. It rolls it right under it. And what I complement that with afterwards is my $2 Harbor Freight Wallpaper Smoother. It's actually in the paint section. They use this for paint edging. I would never do it for that. But what happens to be is a perfectly good way of dispersing the pressure from your hand against the wallpaper. And this whole 10-inch span, it flares the glue out away from the seam. Just imagine the glue in the middle there, and then it pushes it out, right? And that's why I complement this with this. Okay, so it's in the paint section. It's a what I call a wallpaper smoother. They call it a paint edger. Okay, so now I had up until a week ago a flathead and Phillips head screwdriver. But then I was in a store, and I'm not going to mention their name because I don't want to patronize them anymore. It's a large paint store, and they were selling me paint for $40 a gallon, and then they jacked it up to $55. And so they lost a customer. So I'm not going to plug them. So I got this tool by Alway. Now check this out. It's a nice little tool. You know, the less stuff you have on your belt, obviously, the better. The problem is if you drop one, you drop them all, right? So this goes from flathead to Phillips head to, and then to thick flathead and to thick Phillips head, all in one. And all you got to do is pull the thing out. So I have this. You don't have to go to the store I got it from. You can just go to Alway. Okay, and they sell great little tools, especially scrapers to get, if you're stripping a door, they have these nice blades. It's not a blade that's going to cut anything, but it's going to scrape in the nooks and crannies and in the profiles of your very ornate doors, believe it or not. Alway is a great company. They make great tools. This blade is my finest blade, although one of the several that I purchased broke immediately. This little gadget broke off and I can't slide the thing. It cost me $11 on eBay. This tool is an Olfa knife. Now, a veteran paper hanger, a guy I really admire, Jim Perotti, suggested to me that I get myself an Olfa knife. Jim Perotti is one of the finest paper hangers in the whole country. And he works out of northern New Jersey. Very respected tradesman. Been hanging paper since I was in diapers. Okay, so, and so of course, Jim is on the money with this. So, but if you decided that you wanted to go cheap and you didn't want to buy yourself that, you could also get the Cartridge Blades and simply use the black 18 millimeter blades for the cheap one. Okay, you see that? These are 18 millimeter. If you get these, if you're hanging paper, if you see 5 of these on the shelf, grab them all, because you're not going to see them for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's not every Home Depot or Lowe's carries them. When I see them, I grab everything on the shelf, spend 30 bucks. Who cares? I got my blades. Okay. What I also do is I have this, and you'll see this type of blade around in a lot of different stores. And these are the smaller blades, but they're just as effective. And I use, this is the Cartridge Replacements right here for these. So now you can see how many blades I have in my pocket. These things fall off of ladders. You cannot get up and down off the ladder. And by the way, if you ever drop this thing while it's out, first of all, you got to watch out that it doesn't go right through one of your arteries. But if it makes it past your body, it's going to go right through the wallpaper. Not only the blade, but the whole knife, right through it. Has that ever happened to me? No. Okay. So now I showed you those tools. This is a tool that I find is very handy. A lot of time it has a hammer on the bottom. It's not a hammer per se, but one time this lady said, "Hi, I need you to remove my wallpaper." And I said, "Okay, why is that?" She said, "Well, my husband removed the wallpaper and he made like scratches on the wall." I said, "Okay, stop. Tell him to stop and don't do it." What did he use on the wall to get the wallpaper off? She said, "He used that thing that you put in screws and nails in the wall." I said, "What is that?" She said, "I don't know. It's like, you know, the thing you're banging nails with." I said, "A hammer?" She goes, yeah. I said, "Your husband removed a hammer to remove wallpaper?" Yeah, the scraper part. I said, "I don't know any hammers with a scraper." I said, "You're talking about the back part?" Yeah, those 2 little things on the back. I said, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, tell him to keep removing it. Goodbye." There's some jobs you just can't take, okay? And that would be one of them. Now, why do I carry a hammer? By the way, this is not a scraper, and you do not want to be removing wallpaper with a hammer, okay? Although some of your customers might do it, in which case you get to charge a lot more money to plaster the walls. Okay, so now this thing, the tool pouch that I suggest that you get, very few of them, believe it or not, unless you spend a lot of money, and then you look like a carpenter. We're not carpenters. Look at this. Now, I get this small hammer because sometimes you need it. You might have a rowdy worker. You might have to, you know, put him in line. You want a small hammer. No, you know I'm kidding. All right, so the scraper has a hammer. And sometimes you're going to be hanging paper over bulging nails. And what you want to do is you put this over your bulging nail. The painters sometimes fail. Put it over there. This will absorb any denting blow. And what it does is it smoothly pushes the nail back in. And guess what? If you're good at wallpaper hanging and the bulge hasn't perforated the sheetrock, guess what you can use the glue as? Plaster. If you push that bulge back in, doing it the way I tell you, you can use the glue under the wallpaper to just feather it up and fill in any little dent that might be there because of what you did. It's better than have it pushing out. And then it hardens like plaster. Don't do that for anything more than 1/8 of an inch. But if you do it right, you can actually fill in any little dimples that might exist. And if you're smart, you'll take your glue, you go around your room and you fill them in as you see them. And then you come back as you're hanging the paper and the glue is already rock hard, especially if you're going to use clay-based glue. Now, so we went over that tool, we went over that. Yeah, he used the hammer. Okay, we told you about the scissors. Now, why do I use this? When you're over a doorway, listen, the general rule with levels is this. The longer the level, the more accurate the reading. But what do you do for the 24-inch space over doorways? You can't fit a 3-foot level, right? Because in 3 feet, there's how many inches? 36. 36 divided by 3 is what? 12? Okay. So you use this over the door. Now, it actually serves as a back scratcher if you wanted to. Now, you could scratch your back like this or like that, and it does work. But if you had to use it for the tool purpose, it's magnetic, costs a few shekels, and guess what? It makes you have a plumb line right over the doorway. Now, just so in case you don't know what a plumb line is, watch the bubble. You know when they say somebody's half a bubble off? That means he's nuts? Well, when you say something is half a bubble off when you hang a wallpaper, you're nuts if you keep hanging it. You want to get it right there. See that? See that? 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath, Spencer. Hold on. Okay, cool. That's level. Now, if it's not level and you're a bubble off and you're not crazy, it means your wallpaper's not plumb. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to use this over the small areas of your doorways and stuff like that where you can't fit a longer level, because the general rule is longer levels give better reads. Now, I don't use levels because I have upgraded to the Bosch laser level. So I project a straight line behind me onto the wall, and then because my body blocks the laser line, guess what I do? I run a line of tape over the laser level. I shut my laser level off because the batteries are always running out. And then I got a laser line projected. I have a template with a piece of tape. And then I can get to the paper when I want to. I can shut my laser line off because who knows what's coming out of that laser, right? And you don't want to go in your eyes. If you use a laser line and you get in front of it, you lost your line. So how do you do it? You stand off to the side and you put a piece of tape along the laser line, and then you shut the thing off, and then you've projected the laser line with a line of tape. Okay. This is what you use for over windows and small air. It smells like alcohol. Okay. I mean, rubbing alcohol. Actually, the workers are inside cleaning up the floor. That's the kind of alcohol I'm talking about. No, my name is not Spencer, and I'm not happy to be here. Oh, man. You ever drink coffee like mud? I go in to get a cup of coffee today, guys. I say to the guy, hey, listen, is this stuff fresh? Of course. I said, okay. I said, as I'm pouring it, I'm waiting. I said, when was it made? This morning. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This morning? You mean this morning? Of course. Then the other worker said, you gotta put a lot of sugar, man. You gotta put a lot of sugar. You don't taste nothing. Okay. Of course, I left it there and went somewhere else. Okay. So now, you've gotten all of that. The hammer is for bulging nails, and you're gonna carry a 5-minute mud. Boom, boom, boom. You bang it in. This is for bulging nails beyond, I use this, whatever I can. Look, paper hangers, we gotta get in and out. We can't be sitting around fixing what the painter should have done, or what the homeowner should have paid you to fix perfectly. You take your hammer, sometimes I'll use this, bang it in. The less you break, the better. Bang it in, you get 5-minute mud. And you use as little as you can because you want that dry. You gotta have fans, you gotta have everything, air moving, etc. Okay, so that's why I have this in the case of a worker that needs to get put in line or a nail that needs to get put in place. Okay, I'm almost done. The rest of the tools are in the side pouch. Why do I use this? I got this from Home Depot years ago, and I found use for it. I was installing a floor for a friend up in Milford, Connecticut. And what this is perfect for is, if you've ever installed floors, you know what this is good for. The laminate floors, the edge, you can't get your finger underneath it to pull it up. Well, guess what? You put this on the edge before you install your woodwork, you pull it right up. Then I said, hey, I'm a paper hanger. Guess what? I need to get the edge back off because I don't like, sometimes when you do your corners, you want to get, if you have to cut your corners in that case, you want to get this wall underneath this wall. So then you got to pull out the paper, hook the paper, and then you pull it out nice and easy. Now, if you notice, there's a different angle on each of these ends. Now, if you're a dental student, you can also use these to clean your teeth. I'm only joking. Don't put this in your mouth, please. Okay, so you see the different angles. Either one works. I like this one because it hooks it. You see the hook? This one is 90. I like this. You get the paper, you hook it, and then you kind of pull it in, but I like to twist it away from the point so I don't perforate even fabric back vinyl will perforate if you pull this too hard. But even if you pull it, it doesn't rip. If you pull it too hard, it will. But this is the tool. It's professional. You get right under the paper, okay? That's what you do. Now, what else? This is called, when we were kids, remember you had to fill out the bubbles, depending on how old you were? This is what's called a pencil. Now, this is a tool that you're going to want to use for writing on the wall, I like to write T's for top of my wallpaper and B for bottom. This way, because you forget, man, the brain starts going. You got to label your paper top and bottom. And why? Because sometimes you got to reverse your paper. Sometimes your installation calls for the first sheet goes top to bottom, and then the second sheet, you do a reversal so you don't have what's called shading or paneling effect. And so I learned from an English guy, a wallpaper hanger in the UK. He was doing a YouTube, and maybe you might find him on YouTube. And he said, now, if you're using a pencil, what you want is you want both sides of the pencil sharpened. Why? I'll tell you why. Because when you drop it, it will inevitably always spare no time, bar none, without exception, will fall on the point. And if you sharpen both edges, you will have an easy way to just turn the pencil around and start writing with the other end. So I haven't incorporated that into my tool belt yet, but I suggest you do it. I don't usually use pencils when I'm up on a ladder. When I glue my paper, I just make the mark T and B, top and bottom. This is my black magic marker. I'm not going to tell you what this is for. No way. You can ask me in the thing. I'll tell you if you ask. Okay? I never tell about the black magic marker. These are nail punches, and they have varying diameters on the bottom. I asked a guy, one of my workers, I said, can you please bang in that nail? Oh. I said, what are you doing? What do you want me to do? I said, I want you to bang the finishing nail in. Oh. I said, you did it yesterday. Get the nail punch. These are nail punches. They have nice rubber grips on them. You put them up against the finishing nail. You bang them in. Sometimes people put up pictures with finishing nails, and sometimes they're in the stud, and you gotta hide them. You don't want to put a big hole in the wall with penetrating with a hammered head. You get your fine edge out, because that will not only rip open your hand, it'll rip open the paper. So you want to bury that, and that's what I use. And so another thing, the last thing that I have, and for those of you who are a little rounder around the midsection, you might want to get a larger belt. I just got this from the thrift store, and you're definitely going to need something to put your tool belt around you. And I just got a used belt from the thrift store, put it through here, and I don't want it attached to my pants because it takes me longer to get off the job. When I'm done, I'm done. I want to get out of there. So what this does is you just put it outside your outermost garment. Ooh, that sounds official. Brings me back to my days in New York City. Your outermost garment. I was a police officer up in New York for many years. Anyway, this will go on your outermost garment, and you simply take the thing and you adjust it accordingly. And then when you're done, okay? This is how you do it. You bring your belt around, boom, look at that. And everything goes in there, okay? And so there you have it. I just went over your tool belt, and what you're gonna need is a wallpaper installer. If you are in the Tampa area and you want to work for the finest wallpaper installation service, contact me at 813-666-7002. I want to see pictures of your work. I want to see at least 2 videos, one of which has to be a high-end wallpaper installation, and a happy customer with that. This is Spencer. This is the Spencer Colgan Show. Join me for laughs and practical jokes on my wallpaper channel. which are coming soon. Leave a comment in the video section. Let me know how I did. Tell me what you want to see. You're going to see a lot of things coming on my channel soon. And you will see some of the finest wallpaper installations in my service that you've ever seen on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or anywhere else. I now work with the finest wallpaper installers in the whole world. I'm in contact with all of them on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And so we learn from each other, and we're sharing this with you, the homeowner, who may not have the money to hire a professional. But we want your wallpaper installation to go as best as possible, so we're giving you the tips. We're giving you the tricks of the trade. The longer you've been doing it, the better your job will be. But the more patience you have, the better your job will come out if you're a new paper hanger, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Okay, that's it for now. See you on the next one. Join me on my channel, my reality YouTube channel, where I hang wallpaper and entertain you at the same time. You will now, soon enough, you will visit with my co-host, who will be interviewing me as I hang paper and interviewing our other paper hangers as they hang paper on the different jobs that we are doing at the moment. So it should be fun, and I look to interact with you. And see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.